Drop rates, in some instances, are too low, some legendaries don't have a drop source, there is no way to target farm legendary enhancements, class mods are much more likely to drop for a character you're not playing as, and all of this is compounded by the fact that it's incredibly hard for players to work out these drop rates in the first place. For some legendaries, like the aforementioned Sandsummer Songbird, we know for certain that its drop rate is 3% since it's been farmed for so frequently and catalogued. But this has not been the case for every drop in the game. Usually this wouldn't even be an issue since data miners could just check the code. But apparently Borderlands 4 is a much harder game to data mine, meaning that our best method of working out these drop rates is doing around 1,000 runs. And players really should not need to do either of those things just to know how likely something is to drop. So I propose a Gun-o-pedia. No game in the franchise would benefit more from one than Borderlands 4. Because the fact that the drop rates are so wildly inconsistent from each other means that someone who just wants to try out a new item is going to be getting more repeat drops than the thing that they're farming for, leading to frustration. If we had a Gun-o-pedia laying out drop rates, drop sources, and different parts and variants the legendary can drop with, it would solve the issue. You could unlock entries in the Gun-o-pedia by getting the drop from the dedicated source, or killing the boss a certain amount of times. This even provides more completionist stuff to the game, which Borderlands 4 thrives on. Other solutions to the problem will be to give legendaries that don't have a drop source, keep legendary dedicated drops at 10%, or if they do have to fluctuate, a 2% difference, nothing lower than 8 and certainly nothing higher than 12. Class mods should be weighted to drop more often for the class you are currently playing as, and legendary enhancements need a drop source. Since there are so many of them, the best way to break them up would be by manufacturer, then giving those manufacturer type enhancements to a specific boss. Maybe your newly added raid bosses, the Vault Guardians, or any of the bosses with holes in their loot pool like the Biothresher or Vile Ted. That's more of a band-aid fix sadly, but there at the moment isn't enough bosses to include them all as separate drops. And I will just say, would have been the perfect thing for if manufacturer specific takedowns returned, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Also, just throwing this one out there, make the Moxie Encore machines fast travels. That would be a huge win for quality of life, because a lot of times farming, there is a pretty significant walk or drive you'll have to do to get to the boss. Vault Guardians and major story bosses being the worst for this, where you have to run through the entire map, repeating set pieces in some instances like the giant elevator in Fortress Indomita, which is super slow, or the jump pads in the vaults that are cool but would just be better if I didn't have to run past like a million enemies to get to my farm.